Hi, welcome to the Badass Breastfeeding Podcast. This is Dianne, your lactation consultant.
And this is Abby, the Badass Breastfeeder. And today's episode is brought to you by Cake Maternity.
Woo!
Yes, welcome back, Cake Maternity. We're so excited to work with them again. They are the makers of the hands-free pumping bras, nursing bras, sports bras, plunge bras. They've spent over 16 years developing their range of styles. And we're going to hear more from our sponsor later. But now you can head to badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com and check out our sponsor page. If you ever need anything, see if you can give them any of your business because they make this podcast possible. And while you're there, scroll down, enter your email address, and we will send episodes straight to your inbox every week. And I'm still trying to find fun things to send in the interim. I don't know. I'll find something. And we're still on Patreon, and we would love to see you there. We have a new patron, Brianna, I believe is her name. And welcome.
Welcome.
And you can check the link at the top of the show notes wherever you're listening from and see if any of those tiers look good to you. We're still hosting our ongoing giveaway for people who leave reviews around the internet. People are doing it all the time. So you can leave your written reviews or your stars, or I guess that's the only thing I've seen so far, but check out if your app lets you do any reviews, and send a screenshot along with your address to badassbreastfeedingpodcast@gmail.com. And we'll send you a goodie bag of thank you for nursing in public stickers and podcast stickers and fun things like that. And we want to wish everyone a happy World Breastfeeding Week. And to celebrate, we have a giveaway going on social media. Cake Maternity is offering a $200 gift card for their shop. And among the other prizes are a free lactation consultation with Dianne, some podcast merch, a gigantic bundle of 13 items from Original Sprout. They make the shampoo and body wash. And we also have a $200 gift card from the Breast Milk Queen for breast milk jewelry. We have an S7 from Similry, the rechargeable dual breast pump, and a chiller from Sarah's Chill, excuse me. So we have a epic giveaway, and you can head to the Badass Breastfeeder on Instagram or on Facebook, and you can enter there. And we hope you'll go over there and do that because it's pretty cool. And happy World Breastfeeding Week again. And now Dianne has our review of the week.
I do. As a successful breastfeeder and a professional who works with breastfeeding mamas to help give them confidence and tools to be successful on their journeys, I always recommend this podcast from one breastfeeding mama to another. This podcast is real. I love the genuineness and the educational content. This podcast definitely helped build my confidence, and I love telling others about this podcast. Don't stop. I wonder what kind of breastfeeding professional she is. I wonder if she's a peer counselor or an IBCLC or a CLC or one of the other many breastfeeding support people there are out there. But thank you for working with these breastfeeding families. That we need more people.
I know. I get excited when people say that they're some sort of support person because there's just not enough.
I know it. There really isn't. We need more.
Yeah, and you can check out that episode on how to do that. We have all the way from IBCLC to like peer counselor or whatever, all the different ones.
Yeah, definitely. So you can go ahead and check that out if you're interested in becoming one. Because a lot of times once you've had your own breastfeeding journey, people feel like really excited to help others.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just fall into that. You just start helping your friends, and then you start helping family members, and then you're like, oh, this is something that I would love to do, because it's very rewarding to be able to help another person nourish their baby.
Yeah, especially after you had gone through it. It becomes very personal. And that's how
for sure.
I think you and I both got involved.
Yeah. Yep. So you can do it.
If we can do it, you can do it.
Oh my God, if we can do it, you can do it. Yes. That's what I always tell people. If I can do it, yeah, anybody can do it. But this is how we got started. Just from our own journeys. So thank you for that. And today we're going to talk about, we have things to read.
Yeah, we do have a couple of comments. We figured out, Tom figured out how to see comments on Spotify. So I'm trying to keep up with that. And we have somebody who very wonderfully was able to confirm that account I was talking about I talk about it a lot in all of the starting solids with your baby episodes. It's called Kids Eat in Color. It's on Instagram. You have to follow it. It's just so educational. Like, she really breaks down like actually what, like, different meal ideas for toddlers and how much they're actually eating. Cause you freak out about how much they're eating, and she'll actually make a plate of like half a strawberry and, a little square of cheese or whatever. And like, this is all they need to be eating. And even if they're not, but anyway, it's called Kids Eat in Color, and I do recommend it. And then we have another comment from, the episode When to Wean. And they say, great timing. Thank you. I'm the first woman to breastfeed in a century in my family.
It's wild.
I know. And they don't get why I'm breastfeeding past 1 year old. Yeah. So that's pretty impressive that you're able to do that, because obviously you're going to get experiencing a little pushback from your family. And people aren't going to get it.
No, people don't get it.
Sometimes people are like really dedicated to not getting it. Like, not only do they not get it, but they are also like really dedicated to that cause.
Yeah. People are really focused on making sure these babies don't get milk past a year.
Yeah. Like, it just, whatever. You don't have to prove anything to anybody.
No, you really don't. I mean, if it's what you want to do, it's a relationship between you and your baby, not you and the world. So you can,
right. Not you and the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do what you feel is right for you and your baby, and not worry about what everybody else thinks.
Yeah. Your relationship with the world is going to be freaking complicated.
Oh my God.
Just let it be, whatever.
Just let it be. Yeah. And we figure it out, right? Like, we've had people tell us, like, I just don't say things to my doctor about how we sleep, or I don't say things to my doctor about how I feed the baby because I don't feel like hearing it, or I don't say things to my mom about it, or I don't say things to my family about it, or we don't talk about it. Because you figure it out after a while that if they're not supportive, you just don't bother. Because why would you talk about it with somebody if they're not supportive? So we just kind of figure that out as we go, right? Like, just.
Yeah.
It is. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. Slow gainers. We're talking about slow gainers. I liked saying slow gainers. I don't know why.
Yeah. Slow gainers are a little bit of a breed of baby that we need to discuss. And this came up because we have another message about it.
We do. We have a message about it. And I feel like, this is something that really, really, it's come up before. I feel like it's come up before. It comes up quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Okay, so this is from Instagram. This person wrote in, hi there, I'm feeling very overwhelmed with my experience with our local hospital breastfeeding support group. What a sad sentence.
I know.
I'm
It
feeling
makes me so
overwhelmed from
sad.
our support group.
Oh.
Okay, so she says, my son was induced at 38 weeks due to low weight. Born weighing 4 pounds, 11 ounces. Today, he's just 1 day shy of 6 weeks and he weighs 5 pounds, 15 ounces. Nurses, he breastfeeds 8 to 10 times a day, 8 plus pees and poops a day. I thought breastfeeding was supposed to be on demand. We've been doing fine. He has been gaining half an ounce every day, nursing around 24 minutes each session, every 2.5 to 3 hours on demand. At support group, the lactation consultant said to feed on each side a maximum of 10 minutes. And then if he's still hungry, to feed him a pumped bottle of 1 to 2 ounces. Today, at the weighted feed, the little guy didn't pull much from the breast, only 1 ounce in 20 minutes. Is he a slow eater? A relaxed eater? Does he have a sucking problem? One lactation consultant said we should look into speech therapy to see if something is wrong. Suggests I feed him 3 times a day, 2 to 3 ounces of expressed milk. Can I just feed him off the breast when he wants to eat? Isn't that how on-demand works? Is there a particular episode to listen to? I've been trying to listen to as many as I can to get nuggets of information, but not sure if you have an episode specifically on this, on low weight, low growth weight babies. And then she goes on to say, I replied to her and I said, I would love to talk more about this. Can I have your email address so I can, because that's easier to include Dianne. And she said, thanks for getting back to me. I've since switched nursing on demand for as long as he wants and got rid of my nipple shield. I can't deal with all this extra work and advice. My pediatrician seems to be just fine with his half an ounce gain, so I'm trying not to freak out anymore. And I just first of all love that she was just like, I'm not going to freak out anymore, and I'm going to do what feels right. Mm-hmm. Of course, there's more to it, which we're going to talk about, but I want to say one more thing. She says, because I sent her then the episode on weight gain in your breastfeeding baby, which is not specifically about that, but should we touch on it? And then she said, yeah, I've definitely heard that one. I particularly loved when you guys talked about percentiles, especially because my little guy is less than 1%. So let's get into it.
So first of all, I'm really glad, because I was going to say, well, what does her pediatrician say? So I'm glad she followed up with saying that, her pediatrician is fine with the half an ounce a day. It is absolutely acceptable for a breastfed baby to gain half an ounce to an ounce a day. Mm-hmm. That is fine. I don't understand why, if he's feeding like 24 minutes, approximately 24 minutes, why they said only feed him 10 minutes per side. I don't like that.
Well, yeah, that doesn't make it. And then feed him a bottle.
Yeah, I don't like that.
He's nursing. He's latched on. He's nursing. Right. He's slowly, but like he's nursing.
Right. And he's gaining weight. It's not like he's not gaining weight.
Right.
So he is gaining weight.
He's just losing weight, and he's he's gaining.
Right. And he could be a slower eater. He could be transferring slower. I'm going to assume, I could be totally wrong here, but I'm going to assume that they think that he's burning energy breastfeeding, which is not really a thing. No, it's not. It's not a thing.
Can't. Yeah, like they're not, like people will say like, oh, NICU babies shouldn't nurse because it burns too many calories.
And that's not true.
Like the exercise of breastfeeding is burning too many calories.
Yeah. And that's not accurate information. First of all, there's no research behind that at all. And second of all, babies do best at what they physiologically do best. Mm-hmm. And if they're breastfeeding, they're skin to skin against their parent and they're breastfeeding, their respirations are going to be better, their breathing is going to be better, their body temperature is going to be better than if they are taking a bottle. So it's actually better for them to breastfeed than it is for them to bottle feed. So they're burning less energy. And I don't know where it ever came from where people say that, because it's not true.
Oh, because it's another thing to not breastfeed your baby.
Right. It's
There's
so
all kinds
frustrating.
of information about that. It's so ridiculous.
It
well,
is.
and
It's
here,
so
and
ridiculous.
we do know what we do know about this baby is that he was born, that he was small before he was born. And he was induced due to being small.
Right.
And he was born small, and he's small.
He's
So
just a little guy. Yeah.
I just have to assume, I mean, I as well don't know, but I would assume that a smaller baby is going to eat less.
I mean, I would be fine. They're obviously not fine, but if she came to me and the baby was gaining half an ounce a day consistently, I would be fine with that. And obviously her pediatrician's fine with that too. So
yeah, and I think it's probably also, she does know to mention how often he eats throughout the day. She says that he's pooping and peeing. You know, we know that if he wasn't doing these things, or if his poop looked a certain way. Now, this is what happened with Exley. I had Exley, and I'm sorry if you've heard this before, or if you're a long-time listener, you might remember this story. But I had Exley, and I was still nursing Jack, and after, I don't remember what amount of time it was, but Exley's poop was still green. You know, it goes from like kind of yellow, seedy to green to brown.
Mm-hmm.
And this green stage was just like forever. Like it just like his poop was just like green a lot for a while. And I was like, so I had already established the badass breastfeeder. So one of the things that I was lucky to have was just, I knew a lot of lactation consultants. And actually knew Nancy Moorbacher, who is, just a fantastic lactation consultant who has written a lot about different things. And so I called her and I said, Nancy, Exley is still, his poop is still green. And she said, okay. And she, she was like, he's not losing weight. She asked about his weight gain, which I think had been pretty slow at that point as well. And she was like, all right, well, he's not losing weight, which that would be terrible. And he's not losing weight. So that's good. And she said, how are you like organizing the tandem nursing? And I was like, what? What do you mean?
Organizing? Yeah.
I'm like, I have 2 boobs and I have 2 children. Like, whatever, I was just like, it's just the boobs around, boob for you. And she's like, no, you have to give the baby the full breast. Like, pay attention to what you're doing and give Exley the fuller breast. And I'm like, oh, okay. That makes sense. And also make sure he's getting a deeper latch. So we were working on his latch. And then, we were doing, and then breast compressions. I was doing breast compressions while he was feeding. Mm-hmm. And this is why you all have to call a lactation consultant when you're having an issue. You can literally just email us and you can have a consultation with Dianne, either covered through your insurance or $90 to change everything about what's going on with you. Exley, within a week, he had gained the amount that he had gained since he was born in a week, like doubled, and his poop was brown. It was over. I just needed to tweak some things. Mm-hmm. And this is just why it's so important for you to get a lactation consultant. Because I'm like, second baby, I'm the badass breastfeeder. What do you mean? I know what I'm doing. No, I don't. I am not a lactation consultant. And I'm the mom. Like, even, I would imagine even moms of, even babies, even if you're a lactation consultant, you have a baby, you still have that, like you're not objectively looking at the situation. It's like, right. It's like Jack, I worked as a therapist for a long time. And when Jack's struggling, I'm just like, let's I don't know. I don't have like a clear answer. I don't help him immediately. He's like, aren't you a therapist? Wouldn't you be able to help me? And I'm like, yeah. First and foremost, I'm your mom. And no, I don't know.
Oh my God. Poor guy.
So anyway, that's my story. And that was a situation where there was like slow weight gain and we could fix it.
Yeah. Let's hear from Cake. And then we'll talk more about the slow gainers, because I got some stuff for that too.
All right. Yes. Yes, of course you do. Yes. It's 20 minutes in and the lactation consultant has yet to tell her thing. But we're going to hear from Cake, because Cake is super awesome and we love Cake. So Cake Maternity is a designer of comfortable, functional, and beautiful maternity and nursing bras. So like not the stuff that you see at Target. This stuff is beautiful. As mothers themselves, they understand that no two breastfeeding journeys are alike. They've spent over 16 years developing their range of styles, which include hands-free pumping bras, supportive nursing sports bras, lace plunge bras, lace plunge nursing bras, to be specific, and skin-to-skin birthing bras, comfy sleep bras, and everything in between. They also understand changes that our bodies go through during pregnancy and breastfeeding, which is why they cater 28 to 44 band size and A through L cup sizes. Regardless of your size, style, or whether you're breastfeeding, pumping, or both, Cake Maternity have done the hard work so you can focus on what's important: nourishing your baby. Shop their range of maternity and nursing bras, clothing, and accessories online at cakematernity.com. And yes, you did hear clothing and accessories. They do have other things. Cake Maternity. Cake, like birthday cake. CAKE maternity.com. And use code BADASS because you will get 15% off of your purchase. So take advantage of that, badasses. And you can find the direct link and the promo code in show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from. You can also head to badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com for our sponsor page, for all of our resources, all of our other episodes, and information about scheduling your very own one-on-one online lactation consultation with Dianne to talk about your slow gaining baby or any host of issue that you're having.
Yeah. So slow gaining babies, it's hard because, and I see these a lot. I get called a lot about babies that aren't gaining well. And I always feel terrible for these parents because they're doing so many things. They're pumping and bottle feeding and feeding. And, we call that triple feeding, where you're feeding the baby and then you're pumping and then you're giving them a bottle. Ugh. And we have an episode on triple feeding, so definitely go back to that one if you need to. There is so much that they're doing, and it becomes so overwhelming. And then on top of that, they are at the pediatricians or their doctors or whoever they see regularly for weight checks too. Mm-hmm. So then their anxiety is on
and they're super stressed out. Yes, so stressed out.
So stressed.
And usually, I don't mean to cut you off, but there's sometimes a threat that comes along with this. It's like your baby needs to gain this amount of weight by this time, or a whole host of things that people will say they're going to do. The pediatrician will say, and remember Amanda, my friend Amanda, you worked with her, and they were telling her midwives were like, your baby has to gain this amount by this time, or we have to refer you to a pediatrician, which isn't the end of the world. But also, babies don't gain weight because you are demanding that they do. And it's so stressful.
It is so stressful. It is so stressful. And even when the baby starts to gain well, they're still so overwhelmed with everything. Yeah. And totally a PTSD thing about it, because they are afraid that their baby's not going to do well. So this is not uncommon. And if you're in that place, I feel for you. I really do, because it is really hard. And some of the things we do look for with these babies, or at least that I look for, is we do want to measure a transfer and see, like, how is the baby moving milk? Is the baby moving milk well? Are they not moving milk well? What are they doing when they're at the breast? And how can we improve that? Is it just, do we need to make sure the latch is better? Do we need to do breast compressions? Those things are really great to get more milk to the baby. And we also are looking at what the weight gain is. If they're gaining half an ounce a day, yes, it's on the lower end of normal, but it is fine. And if they are fine, they're peeing and pooping several times a day, they're content after feedings, everything is fine, then we leave them alone. And then the other thing that they said, and this message that she sent us, was they suggested maybe she go to a speech pathologist to see if anything is wrong. Right. That's the lactation consultant's job, to see if anything is wrong. And then if anything is wrong, you send them to the SLP.
Right. You make the referral.
Right. You don't, like, you can, as a lactation consultant, like, I can tell, and if the suck is not coordinated, if there's something going on with what they're doing at the breast. Like, if they're not feeding well, if they're physically not feeding well, they're not transferring milk well, you can tell by looking at them, because they're doing more sucking than swallowing. And if they're doing more sucking than swallowing and the milk supply is there, because that's the other thing, is the milk supply suffering, because we have to look at that too. For a baby that's not feeding well, if the milk supply, it could suffer, if the baby's not feeding well. So we have to make sure that the supply is there as well. Mm-hmm. And if the supply is fine and the baby is feeding not so well, then that might be a situation where we might need to be like, okay, do we need to bring in a feeding therapist? Because if the baby's not coordinated, or their suck isn't very good, or maybe their suck isn't strong enough, especially if you have like a smaller baby like this, maybe his suck is just not as strong yet. Maybe he needs to build up, and as he gets bigger and stronger, he's going to feed a little bit better.
Well, and keeping him on the breast is important in that situation. Not taking him off and giving him a bottle. Like, if he's going to, if the baby's small and needs to gain sucking strength, then sucking on the breast is what's going to do that.
And I don't understand the 10 minutes per side thing. I thought we gave up on that a long time ago. And she said the baby's feeding like 24 minutes-ish, and they're saying, oh, feed 10 minutes a side. Isn't that 20 minutes?
Yeah.
I mean, It's almost the same exact thing. The situation with 10 minutes, and people ask all the time, like, how long should the baby be on the breast for? And it varies. It really does. And it's really hard to tell people, like, you should be feeding for this many amount of minutes, because it does vary. But when you have a baby that doesn't gain, people are obsessed with knowing how long the baby is on the breast for and making sure that they're staying on the breast. It doesn't matter how long they're on the breast. What matters is what they're doing when they're there. You could have a baby that's on the breast for 20 minutes, but if they're not doing anything, then that's not going to help anything.
Right. And I think for me, that was a very important piece, was learning to look at my baby and see whether they were eating or not. Mm-hmm. And learning what the different sucks looked like, which you can easily like look up on YouTube, and they'll show you the difference between a baby just kind of hanging out and like what it looks like when they're feeding. Just how the mouth moves differently on the breast. And it's easy to tell. And then you're able to tell, like, when they're done eating or if they've eaten.
Yeah.
I found that very handy.
It's really important. It's really, really important to be able to tell between if your baby is just sucking and if they're sucking and swallowing. Because that suck swallow tells us that they're moving the milk. If they're doing suck swallow, then that means they're moving milk. If they're doing 4, 5, 6 sucks and a random swallow, they're not really moving milk. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that they're moving milk the way they need to be. And if they're doing that, if they're tiring, not necessarily tiring, but if they're dozing off, because, babies do that. They doze, they fall asleep, they start to, then you switch them. Is it 10 minutes? Maybe. Is it 8 minutes? Maybe. Is it 12 minutes? I mean, like, it doesn't really matter.
Right. Yeah, there's not a formula for that.
Right. And it's going to be different every time, just like we eat differently every time too. We don't eat for 10 minutes every single time we eat. It's different all the time. So that does not really hold to it. And we don't want to just like feed random amounts by bottle because we don't want to take away from what the baby's going to do at the breast either. So you do have to, if you have to supplement, if that's something that you have to do, if you have to supplement after a feeding, we need to know like how much do you really need to supplement? Because it might only be an ounce.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the baby's taking, depending on what the baby's already taking and how much you need them to take, you might not need to give that supplement at all, or you might only need to give a little bit of a supplement after they're eating, depending on whether they're losing or they're really underweight or whatever. But it's really hard when you're working with a baby that's gaining slower because you have to look at all these moving pieces. And like I said, it's so hard on the parents because they're so concerned. And even when the baby starts gaining well, you never get that out of your head. You never get that out of your head that the baby had these weight gain issues and you were at the pediatrician every other day.
Yeah.
Doing weight checks. I mean, the anxiety is just crazy with that.
Yeah.
I always feel bad for those parents. I really do, because it's just so much. And they just want, like, I'm working with one right now and she's like, I just want to be able to breastfeed the baby. Like, that's all I want to be able to do.
Yeah.
It's just breastfeed the baby. And it's like, and the baby has all these other things going on too. So it's not just a feeding issue. But that's all these parents want to do is just be able to breastfeed the baby. Just like this mom in the message. She's like,
Right.
Can I just feed the baby?
Well, I think that's something that stood out to me the most about this message was that she feels like nothing's wrong.
Right.
And that's a really important piece. Like what the sense that you're getting with what's going on with your baby.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it happens the other way around too, where you feel like something's wrong and people are like, nah, oh, it's fine. It's fine. Whatever. No, it's all right. And you're like, I just feel like something is off.
Right.
And if that's how you feel, then it's probably right. And this woman clearly feels like everything is fine. That she's just like, can't I just feed him? Like, he's fine. Like, isn't this like it just struck me that she really feels like everything is fine. And I feel like that's an important piece.
I think that is really important too. And I think you need to take away the things that are making you not feel that way. So you might have to, unfortunately, stop going to that group.
Well, yeah. And the other thing is that this is the only thing that they're harping about is that he's gaining weight slowly. It's not like he's gaining weight slowly and then there's this issue and this issue pointing to a bigger problem. Like, it sounds like everything is going well and he looks very healthy. And then this is the only thing that stands out. And I just feel like if he truly was like not getting enough, or if there's going to be other things, right? It's not just going to be he's just gaining slow.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, right? I don't know. I mean, I feel like you would see other things.
Yeah, you would see other things. Yeah. You would see other things. And the things that I always tell parents, because then they're not sure. Of course, I go in there with my scale and we can measure a transfer and all of that stuff. And parents are like, well, how do I know now? Like, how do I know that the baby's getting what they need? And we go back to looking at the diapers and, looking at the baby and making sure, looking at the sucks and swallows, really being aware of all of those things makes a difference in knowing that your baby is getting what they need. And it can be really hard to go from being so hyper diligent about what they're doing to just feeding on demand, because you don't really know their cues anymore. You don't know, like you never, had to know their cues before because you were feeding them on a very regimented routine to get them to gain weight. So now we go into like, how do I know what their cues are? And that can be really hard because we went from not really watching the baby to now we need to watch the baby. And knowing what their poops and pees are good, knowing that they're content, knowing that they're sucking and swallowing, all of that stuff is really important to be able to just watch your baby. And that's how you get to know them. And that's how you start knowing their cues.
Yeah.
So it's babies that gain slow are hard. You can definitely get past it. It's hot. They're just difficult. They're hard babies. And sometimes they're a little early. Sometimes they're, like this baby where they were smaller to begin with. Sometimes it's just what happens. And there is no real reason behind it. Sometimes milk supply is fine. Babies just aren't gaining well. And we just need to figure out like, okay, is this something that we need to bring in somebody else for? Like a speech language pathologist? Or is this something that we just need to figure out what to do with them? So seeing a lactation consultant is really important. And if you don't feel like you're getting the help you need, then see a different one.
Yeah. 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 You can find a different one just like you would with any, like getting a second opinion from a doctor, or, you went and saw a therapist and you just didn't jive with them. You just get a second opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.